What's going on, guys? It's Justin, and in this video I thought, since over the last 2 months I haven't talked that much about wrestling, I would finally sit down and express my opinion on the current product of the two major organizations and one independent organization. Of course, what I'm referring to are the WWE TNA and ROH. So in this video I'm going to be discussing my views on each organization and where they're going and the current state of wrestling in general. So let's start off with the big one, the major corporation. So we're talking about WWE here. WWE over the last couple months, I think, have had a lot of downfalls, even though a lot of people were very hyped up about the return of Brock Lesnar and really hyped up about the storyline revolving around him and John Cena, which led to a sudden halt at the last pay-per-view, and now we're seeing Triple H and Brock Lesnar, I guess, sort of in a feud, but not necessarily. I haven't been really watching Raw, but what I've watched through your guys' videos out there, I've been keeping up that way. What I've heard was that Paul Heyman supposedly is suing Triple H and Brock Lesnar, and just the storyline to me doesn't make much sense. And I know people are going to say, well, it's going to lead to a feud between Brock Lesnar and Triple H. But at the same time, if Triple H is someone that's semi-retired, do we necessarily need to see a feud between him and Brock Lesnar? I don't think so, in my opinion. I guess with Brock Lesnar's return, there's not a lot of people that Brock Lesnar has to wrestle. So they have to put him up against big opponents. And, you know, people are saying that his loss to John Cena was a significant mark because he was supposed to make this triumphant return, and it just kind of flopped with him losing. I don't know what the WWE is doing. In my opinion, they should have ran with the whole Brock Lesnar thing and had him destroy Cena and carried on the storyline that way, but they didn't, and it's WWE. It's another situation where they had the ball in their court and they dropped the ball. They could have ran and made this into a amazing situation, but they didn't. So the WWE in that way, I think they're kind of falling apart story wise. Um, I think it also has to do with their writers. A lot of the writers that are on WWE right now are older wrestlers that want to just involve storylines that either are rehashed from the past or storylines that don't necessarily make sense. And I'm not sure why they're doing this, but to me, they have so much young talent they can go out and actually put forward. And I know I've said this several times on my other channel when I had it. WWE needs to evolve and needs to have younger wrestlers come up, and they're not doing that. With them promoting Brock Lesnar, promoting Triple H, even John Laurinaitis versus John Cena makes no sense in my mind why they would do that. John Laurinaitis isn't a wrestler. They have like I said, they have so much young talent. They could put on amazing matches. Why would you put someone that's not necessarily a wrestler into that main event status? You know, they've done it before in the past with Eric Bischoff, with Vince McMahon, with Jerry the King Lawler, with Jim Ross, all that stuff they've done in the past. So it's just another way for them to rehash these kind of storylines. And I don't think it necessarily makes them money, because who's buying a pay-per-view to watch that? Shouldn't the main event be based on what you want to sell your pay-per-view on? And, you know, for them to have Over the Limit this weekend, where that's the main thing they've been focusing on, and they have an amazing match between Daniel Bryan and CM Punk happening, that doesn't make sense. And I have a bad feeling about the CM Punk Daniel Bryan match. I just have a feeling that match, either something, there's going to be some kind of disqualification. They're not going to let them go out and wrestle the way that they should wrestle. And if you've ever seen how these guys wrestled in their independent days, those two individuals are amazing wrestlers, and the WWE seems to water down their wrestling skills for some strange reason. I'm not sure why. And it's just a sad fact that they do that. What else? Another thing I wanted to touch on, and finally on WWE, is they just signed Ric Flair again. This also is another thing that I've mentioned in the past on my other channel, is why does the WWE have to bring back these legends in order and sign them in order to get buy rates? In my opinion, it doesn't make sense. Like I've said, build the younger stars. Don't focus on the appearances of John Cena, of Ric Flair, of Stone Cold, The Rock, Brock Lesnar. We don't need that. Focus on the younger stars, build them up. That's just my opinion on WWE. TNA, they're having that open challenge thing. Um, what I've seen from TNA or heard from TNA, I haven't watched. Like I said, I haven't watched wrestling in general for probably the last 2 months. Um, I've heard they have had this open mic thing where anyone can call out anyone for any titles or any matches, and basically TNA has actually it has a lot more superstars that can wrestle. A lot of people hate on TNA. TNA's wrestling in general, I think, is a lot better than WWE's wrestling. Their storylines are complete shit. But the talent they have, they know how to use. Like Austin Aries, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, even. His match against AJ Styles, I heard, was an amazing match. Bobby Roode. Just people out there that they're showcasing. Don't get me wrong, they're still showcasing a lot of stars that shouldn't be wrestling, but they're still focusing on wrestlers that they can build into future stars, which is important. And then ROH doesn't necessarily have a lot of stars now. I know people are still hyped up about ROH. I'm glad that Kevin Steen is the champion. I've met Kevin Steen. I've seen him wrestle a couple of times, and I've seen him on videos and stuff like that. He deserves to be champion, but at the same time, there's not a lot of wrestlers in ROH right now, which is sad because it's an independent company that relies on the viewers to actually make their money and people to buy their products. When they don't have the stars, the fan base isn't there, and the organization doesn't build as much as it could. And in my opinion on Kevin Steen is, even though he's a great champion in ROH, he'll never have the opportunity to wrestle in the WWE because he doesn't fit the structure that Vince McMahon set forth for bigger stars in the WWE. Um, to me, Kevin Steen's sort of like a Bam Bam Bigelow sort of star. He could be main event status, but he'll never win a championship. And even with Bam Bam, Bam Bam was amazing for his size. Kevin Steen's the same way. He's an amazing wrestler, but because he doesn't fit that structural mold that Vince McMahon has, he'll never become a main event star. And people are going to say, well, Daniel Bryan wasn't expected to win a championship in WWE either, but Daniel Bryan was also trained by Shawn Michaels, so I think that kind of gave him the kind of over the edge push that other stars may not necessarily get. So that's been my look on ROH, TNA, and WWE. I want you guys to comment below. Let me know what you guys think about it. And we'll see you guys later. One love, mad love. Peace.